Today, as part of leadership series, we will be talking about how to build a reality map for your team. For thousands of years, we have been creating maps, and we are always still fascinated by the amount of information that they present because they provide us with a really clear understanding of the world around us. All of us carry around our own integral reality map, which is the description that we carry around of our understanding of the world around us. The better your internal reality map, the better your understanding of your world around you. The question is, how do you create a reality good map? Watch this video to find out. In this module, we are going to be looking at what a reality map is and why it is so important to be effective in the modern day world. In the last few videos, we have been seeing how the brain is using the senses to pull in huge amount of information. However, the brain does not just forget this information. It organizes all of it into one giant connected information structure in your brain. And we can loosely understand this as your internal map of the external reality. So, this then is your reality map. It is your internal representation of external reality in that you are operating in. And the reality map is important because it guides you in the same way that a physical map guides us to achieve our goal. If you imagine that you are going to go hiking, you want to have a good map in your hand so that like you can navigate the physical world around you in exactly the same way as a leader. When you are trying to get towards achieving your goal, you want to have good reality map so that you can navigate the reality that you are in effectively to achieve your goals. It is important because we can use the tool to reference ourselves in the environment and make sure that we can make the right decision. If you are going to go into the city and try and get somewhere, you are going to look at the travel map because you need to make decision about where you are going to change buses or trains, and in same way you need to be able to have good reality map so you can make decisions about how you make adjustment to your strategy towards pursuing your goals. We do not have the good reality map, then we do not know how to achieve our goal, and then we are lost. Although sometimes it is difficult for the people to accept that man are notoriously bad at the recognizing that they have lost. However, the simple truth is that often many leaders have no idea what is going on, and it would be best for them to recognize that and invest in learning how to build a reality map. The important thing to remember is that the better the map, the easier is for you to achieve your goal. This might sound obvious, but how do you build a better map? Because if you have a really good reality map, that means you have a good understanding of the unfolding situation that allows you to move quickly towards achieving it. That's why Google Map, Pinj Map are there so effective because they are really good at describing the reality that we are operating in. There are two factors that make the map really useful. On the one hand, they are extremely detailed and they are also extremely up to date. If imagine if those digital maps were 2 or 3 years out of date, then they wouldn't be as useful because businesses close or open road changes, and the fact that they are so up to date makes them incredibly useful and valuable. And so this introduces us to the basic challenges of building a useful reality map. Accuracy means describes how up to date the map is, whereas the precision describes the details. But That is something we are going to look at in the next video. The problem is that to build an accurate map, you basically need to go out and actually gather the information. And obviously, the more information you want to get, the more times it takes. So if you take 5 years to gather all the information you need to map, then it might have lots of details in, but it will probably be inaccurate because lot of have changed in those 5 years, and this reveals the fundamental problem. The world is changing so quickly today that by that time we have built an effective understanding of what's happening in it, it is already inaccurate because the world has already changed. So that means we are caught in the awkward situation of always using outdated maps to make decisions in the environment that have already changed significantly. So what is the key point here? Reality map has to be up to date as possible to enable you to make effective decisions. If you do not have an accurate understanding of what is going on in the world, then it is going to be very difficult for you to make effective decisions. A good example of this is to compare the London Underground map of 1908 with today's modern underground map. It is obvious not going to be very useful as the modern day map. The city have changed so much and so dramatically. It is that it is very difficult for you to cross the city effectively to get into where you want to go. So what you do to build a reality map? So how can you build? How can you go about that? Well, we prepared a tool for you that you can use to lead your team to build a reality map. The first point to make here is that obviously the reality map is not usually an express document. It is not something tangible, whereas we are used to having physical maps in our hands or even maybe in our computer screens. Our reality maps are in our hands, heads, and so what we are trying to do is to make the intangible explicitly tangible. That's the objective of this process. To give you a metaphor, imagine blind people in a room with an elephant. One touches the trunk and maybe thinks that it is a snake. Another one touches the big leg and thinks it is a tree. And one touches the tail and thinks it may be horse. Only by combining the different understanding that they be able to understand that the different elements, the different body parts, and they are touching are indeed one animal, and that is the same approach that we need to take. You and your teammates all have an important piece of information in your mind, important piece of reality map puzzle, and what we need to do is piece them together to get good understanding of the overall situation. So the key point here is do not do this alone. You cannot possibly know everything, and in the same way that one blind person would not be able to understand the whole elephant, and you too cannot expect to understand the whole situation. So make sure that you do this in the context of working together with your teammates. So step one is to make sure that everyone gathers the data in the right way. So what is the really important here is that you ask people to prepare for meeting, especially ask them to prepare on them their own. The real key point here is that everyone is bringing their diverse perspective. If everybody talks to each other before the meeting, then all you are going to have the everyone saying the same thing, which is exactly what you do not want. So instead, you want everyone to bring their own perspective and make it clear to everybody that you are not looking for the right answer. You are just looking for their opinions and perspectives. Make people feel uncomfortable to really say what they believe. Then step two, presenting the data in the meeting. Ask everyone to present their data without interruption, and it should be only between 2 or 3 minutes long. It should be short and concise. The point is that this is to enable people to everyone to have a voice, because what you are going to find is no one person has the right answer, and so one person might have a crucial piece of insights that By sharing with the group, we will transform the understanding that everyone has of the situation, and that's why it is important to let them speak without interruption so that everyone can really pay attention to every single piece of details. And then third, we get to the building the map, and what we have gone through is two steps so far. Before the meeting, everyone prepared their information, then they are now presenting the data in the meeting, and now the meeting must continue to synthesize all the perspectives that have been shared. And so this should be very creative time, and what you are working towards is achieving the outcomes described in the purple box in front of you. You are essentially want to create a document with these statements in them, everything from the three most important things that are affecting our success right now, why we think these reasons are important, so and so forth. I am going to read them all out because it is boring to read out PowerPoints to everybody, but you get the basic point. The key point here for you in terms of outcome is work is guiding the team towards building a consistent. Use diagrams, use visuals, whatever it takes to build consciousness around what the current reality is for the team. And this is really important that you understand what your role is. You are not the supreme answer, you do not have all the answers, so make sure that you are working as a facilitator and encouraging everyone to unify their perspectives rather than telling everyone what the answer is. So once you have done that, what happens next? Well, you need to move on to actually using the reality map. And so that's where you can see in the slide what it means, what you need to do next. So you have built a reality map. Now you need to share it and use it. And the key emphasis here is on using it as a living text. What that means is you do not create the document file in a drawer and forget about it. You need to make it public. It needs to be lived in the sense that it is a part of everybody's experience. Great ways of doing this is making it into really a big poster and putting it into the wall in the public place. Or if your team is really into digital, you could create a wiki that people can use as a reference. And as we learned in this module, accuracy is the key, and you cannot just sit back and to think that your map is going to remain accurate forever, because it won't. You need to decide how long it takes till the next update, and then you need to start preparing your team for that, which is absolutely what the purple box is. And then the cycle is complete and you go around again. You never complete the cycle. You need always to be refreshing your understanding of reality in order to make sure that you and your team are up to date as possible. So three simple steps of what you need to do. Step one is to initiate the process of building a reality map using the tool that we provided for you. Run the first meeting. If it is the first time you have ever done this, it is going to be challenging. So recognize that, make sure that you share that with everybody. You should not go in thinking and it is going to be something you are going to do in a half an hour, because that's extremely unrealistic. So instead, turn it into an afternoon session of creativity in which you get the chance and you and your team get the chance to really drill down to the issue that are affecting you and what you need to be doing to engage them. And then three, they take responsibility for making sure that the document is shared, make it public. So in summary, what have we learned in this module? You and your team need to have reality maps to make good decisions. If the reality map is wrong, then you cannot be right. So make sure you have the right reality map in place, and do that by making sure it is regularly updated. If your job as a team leader to make sure you have the best understanding of the situation, so make sure you invest the time and effort to regularly update your map so you can have great overview of the situation and make the decisions you need to be successful.